So let's come to the chapter number 4, which is a topic from test 1. So we are moving towards actually advanced statistics, where we are now going to do a test. Okay, so before we go to actual sample test on whether it is large sample or whether it is a small sample, we will discuss that one by one. Chapter number 3, chapter number 4 and 5 are very scoring chapters, because it all the problems works directly upon the formulas, and I am not going to give you any more theory based on that. Then, but at the same time, this is more complicated as well. So I want all of you to please attend the class so that you can understand what we are doing. All right. So let's go ahead with the first topic called as confidence interval. In the previous classes, we have seen two concepts earlier. That when I was talking about the estimation, if you remember the estimation word which we have seen two types of estimation. One is point estimation, and one is interval estimation. Right. So point estimation is a single value estimate, and interval will be you will get the values in the interval. So for example, if you want to estimate the population parameter, this we have to estimate. So to estimate the population parameter, for example, in this case mean, we have to first estimate the sample mean. So whatever the value we will get here, that will be the value of the population parameter. But this will be a single value. So this we have done already in the problem. Interval estimation we have not done yet. So this interval estimation is nothing but the confidence interval. All right. So whatever the population mean you want to find, the population parameter. To find that population parameter, we all same procedure. We will use the sample statistic, and we'll estimate that in interval. All right. And whatever the value we'll get for the sample statistic will also imply same for the population parameter. But the difference here is that we will get the value of mean in the interval. So how to find the values in the interval, that we're going to learn in today's class. So when we talk about the confidence interval, so for time being, I am focusing on the large samples. It means the sample size will be greater than or equal to 30. Whatever the problems you will see today, the sample size are larger and larger enough. So confidence interval, why it is named as confidence interval? If I want to estimate the value of statistic, okay, for example, with the help of some samples, we will have some samples. A minute. We will be having some samples, okay. So based on this sample, I will find the mean of this sample. So how much percentage of confident you are that your mean lies in this set of interval? Okay. For example, you have found this mean, and you have got the answer that you have got the mean value between, let's say, 5 to 10 for some problem. So how much percentage of confident you are in saying that your mean lie between 5 to 10? So that confident level is named that as confidence. And because your answer coming is in interval, so we call that as confidence interval. So we have different types of confidence interval. We will be having 68% of confidence. Somebody will be 60% confidence. Somebody will answer this 95% confidence. Somebody will answer that with 99% confidence, and somebody may answer that 99.75% of confidence. So this percentage of confidence is similar to your normal distribution, which we have seen in your previous chapter, that your mean lies, the 68% of the data will lie between -1 to +1. We generally write this as -1 plus sigma and 1 plus sigma here. So, but for time being, I'll just write -1 to +1. So this percentage is 68% generally. So 68% of data lies between -1 to 1 when sigma is -1 to 1. When it is -2 to 2, your data will be approximately 95%, I guess. Yeah, 95% data will lies between -2 to +2, and between -3 to +3, your number of percentage of data lies here is 99.75%. This we have already spoken about. So the same thing will apply for the confidence interval now. So at what level of percentage confident you are in answering your question, that is what we're going to see here. All right. So we have a straightforward formula. So it refers to an interval estimate, as I've told you. It is an interval estimate, and we'll try to estimate the parameter. Parameter is the word for the population. Okay, so in general, I have taken theta. This theta can be a mean, this theta can be a variance, this theta can be standard deviation, any parameter. Okay, so this will take the value in the interval. For example, let's say interval between t1 comma t2 with the help of the statistic. Statistic means with the help of the sample. So we will find the sample statistic, as I've told you, and then we will estimate the population parameter. Okay, so this interval, what we will get for the sample statistic, is called as confidence interval, and the t1 and t2 values, whatever we will get, we call that as confidence limit. Straightforward definition. So confidence interval has a specific confidence. Okay, suppose t1 and t2 is the confidence limit and theta is the parameter, any parameter. So I can also find this parameter as mean or standard deviation and whatever it may be. So is equal to some percentage. We represent this in some percentage. So how much percentage of confident you are in answering your parameter, that percentage will be given to you, that I want you to be 99% confidence of finding this parameter in the interval. So this 99% will be given to you, but how to use this 19% and all, we will see in the problems. So as I've showed you here that your 95% or percentage of data lies between -2 to +2. If you just go to Google and Google it out, that normal distribution table, if you see, you can check that 95%, 95.45% of data lies between -2 to +2. So the same example I've taken here. What is the probability that your Z, which is a normal distribution, a standard normal distribution, lies between -2 to +2? So we have phi of 2. This value you can find from normal table. So this you can find from the normal table or the calculator. So this is the value of phi of 2. When we multiply, we will get 95.45%. So what this indicate? So we can say with 95.5% confidence that your Z lies between -2 to +2. Okay, this is just small example I've taken to make you understand. All right. So now note that from the previous chapter, I'm recalling that for the finite population or the sampling with replacement, as we can say that your mu of x bar is equal to mu and your sigma of x bar is equal to sigma by root n. These two formulas are more important for me to answer the problems on confidence interval of any parameter in this case. So here is the parameter. So what kind of parameters will going to work, I will tell you in a while. So now you can see that for finite population, your mean of sample is equal to mean of population. This is for sample and this is for population. So if you want to estimate the parameter, you have to first estimate the sample. Okay. Similarly, in this case also, your surface x bar, this is for the statistic and this is for the population. So these two formulas are important. So as you can see that we have a mean here. So the parameter which I'm talking about here is the mean. So and as n tends to infinity, when you take n larger and larger, then you have to apply the central limit theorem. So then it will the distribution will exactly normal. So this is the formula we have seen in previous class. So just a quick recall for that. All right. So now the confidence interval of mean. The first parameter, the mean. Okay. Now I am not sure whether this normal table is clear or not, but I hope it is clear. This normal table is already be there in your Google Drive. You can just check this out. So if you just quickly look into that normal distribution table, this normal distribution actually you may have two types of normal distribution table. One is one tail, one is one tailed distribution table, and one is two tailed distribution table. So one tail and two tail means you can see here both the tails are considered. This is one tail, this is another tail. So this distribution table which I have taken is here for two tail. If you take the normal distribution for one tail, then the values may differ, but it is very difficult to find the values for one tail. So I always prefer you to use two-tailed normal distribution table where both the tails has been considered. So this is one observation in this case. Anyway, let us look at the formula for confidence interval of population mean. So the first parameter which I am estimating is population mean parameter, and the formula is straightforward. The formula is mu of x bar plus minus zc into sigma x bar. Actually we will write, but sigma x bar is the value we already know, so we write this formula as sigma mu of x bar plus minus zc sigma by 210, because we know that mu of x bar is equal to mu and sigma of x bar is equal to sigma by root 10. We are not replacing mu x bar as mu in this case because we are estimating this value. So to estimate this value, we have to use sample statistic only. All right. Now, what is this ZC? ZC is a critical value. ZC is a critical value. If you just look at this particular graph, you have a Z here. Your ZC will lie on either of the side. When it is negative, it may be on left side. When it is positive, it may lie on the right hand side. So what will happen for this ZC? For example, if you find ZC value, and if the ZC value will lie here or maybe here, let's say, if your ZC value lies outside this particular tail, okay, then your approximation, whatever we are doing, we have to reject there. So don't worry about this reject and accept, because we will learn this in hypothesis more. But because we have a word ZC in this case, just remember that when ZC value lies either of this side, we are going to reject something. So what we're going to reject, we will see that it's a rejection area. And what if the ZC value lies in between this range, we have a acceptance range now. So when it lies between ZC in this interval, we are going to accept something, and when it lies outside the region ZC, then we are going to reject something. So what we're going to accept and what we're going to reject, that we will see a bit later. For time being, just keep in mind that we have two words called rejecting and accepting. Okay, so we will discuss that in a bit later. So this is a straightforward formula you have to use to find the confidence interval of population mean. Now there may be a case that sometime in the problem they may give you sample standard deviation value. So you have to, and this is only few small things which you have to remember, that sample standard deviation and sigma stand for population standard deviation. So majority of the time they will give you sample standard deviation value in the question. Sometimes they will not give you sample standard deviation, but they will give you population standard deviation value. So which value they will give, that value you will use in this formula. Okay. For example, if the population standard deviation is given, then I will use sigma by root n. Okay. If they will give sample standard deviation, then this formula will slightly change. Up to here, there is no change, but in place of sigma, I will use sigma x bar. That's all. If population standard deviation is given, then use sigma. If sample standard deviation is given, then use sample standard deviation formula in this case. That is the only change in the formula. Okay, fine. So we already know this part. So if I have already told here, if sigma is not known, then use sigma x bar as an estimate to find the confidence limit. So in this case, your sigma will replace with sigma of x bar. Now formula is clear now. Next part is how to find this ZC value. Okay. So this ZC value you have to find from the normal distribution table. So please pay attention how to find the ZC value. ZC is nothing but a critical value. So whenever I will say critical value, two words should come in your mind, that we are going to reject something. What we are going to reject, I'm not telling you right now. And we are going to accept something. Based on this ZC value, it's a critical value and very important concept. So when we have a critical value, reject or accept something, which we'll see that in a upcoming chapter topics. But in this case, I will first tell you how to find the ZC value. The value of ZC being calculated using a normal distribution table. So this table we have to keep as a reference. So for example, let's say if we want to find the confidence interval of mean at 95%, so this will be given to you in the problem. This will be given. So first you have to check which percentage of confidence they are asking in the problem. If they're asking you 95% confidence, because this is two-tailed, I'm again and again repeating, I'm using two-tailed normal distribution table. If you use one-tailed normal distribution table, these values, whatever you have here, will differ. So two-tailed values are always easy to use. That's why I'm using two-tailed now. Anyway, what level of confidence interval they are talking you to find, just take that as 0.95 and divide this with 2. So when you divide this with 2, what we will get here? 0.95 by 2. I'm getting the value as 0.475. If they ask you to find, let's say 99% confidence, then you have to take 0.99 and divide this with 2. So what will be this value? 0.99 by 2. This is coming around 0.495. All right. This step is clear. Whatever the confidence interval level percentage they are asking, first divide this with 2. Now whatever the value you have got here, search this value in the normal distribution table. Okay, so now you can see here I have you can see that I have a last value of 1 up to 0.34. So I do not have any value, so I will I have taken the half of this portion here. Okay, so I'm checking the value for 0.475, such this value where we have this value. All right. Okay. So now you can see that here is the value 0.475. We can just quickly, I don't know if it's visible or not. So roughly you can check. Here is the value 0.475. So where this value lies now? So this value lies for 1.9 and 0.06. So the ZC value will be 1.96 for 95% confidence. Similarly, the ZC value will be next was 0.495 for 99%. So for 99%, if you want to write the ZC value, I have to search 0.495 in the table. So where is 0.495? So 0.4904. So it is coming around 0.4906. It is coming around somewhere here. Sorry, not this one. 0.49 here it is. 0.4945 or 0.4946. Anyone you can take, or you can take the average of these two. So I will take this value because it is more closer. So the value lies at 2.5, 0.5. So we can say roughly 2.55. So this is the value of ZC. So like that, you can find any value of ZC for any percentage of confidence limit. Mm, 0.08. Yeah. Yes. I think this is the better value. Yes, 0.495. So this is more closer. Yes. So the value will lie at 2.58. So this will be 2.58. So 2.58 value. So this is the way you have to identify the ZC value. Once you have identified the ZC value, then you have to just simply substitute that in confidence interval formula. So same thing I just repeated here. So just remember this particular table now. Majority of the question will be only at 95%, or maybe very rarely they may go up to 99.75%. So if it is 19%, you know how to find ZC value now. So you have to take 0.9975, you have to divide this with 2, whatever the value you will get, search in the normal distribution table. But majority of the time they will ask only the question on 95% and 99%. So you can just remember the value directly. That for 95% the value is 1.96. For 99% the ZC value is 2.5. You can buy her that. This is for two-tailed. This value of ZC may change when you look this value for one tail. So I'm not going to confuse you with one tail right now. Just be focused for two tail right now. All right. So any doubt till here? If any doubt may come, please put in chat box. All right. So the formula will be same for difference of mean also. So straightforward formula. Difference of mean means we will be having two mean now. So we will be having mu of x1 bar plus minus ZC sigma of x1 minus x2. So previously we had the formula as mu x bar plus minus ZC of sigma x bar. So because we have only single mean, so only single mean we have used. Now we have a difference of mean means you will be having two mean now. So that will be mu of x1 bar minus x2 bar, 2 mean plus minus critical value and standard deviation of difference of 2. Therefore, so already we have seen this formulas in previous class for difference of mean, right? Just substitute that here. Okay, so we will get, and this same table have repeated once again of Z value. Okay, so that's it. Only mean and difference of mean problems only we are working out. So let's see the problems quickly. A random sample of 400 items chosen from a random finite population and found to have a mean of 82. Once they have already taken the random sample of 400, sample size is bigger, so sample size is more than 30, so it's a large sample. So definitely whatever the mean they're talking about now, their mean of sample itself. So what is the given thing for us? We have sample mean given as 82. We have sample standard deviation given as 80. Please be careful while writing your given terminologies. Here sample word they have already used. They have taken the sample. Once they have taken the sample, whatever the mean and standard deviation they will give a sample only. So you have to use the mu of x bar and sigma of x bar for the sample. Okay. Here the sample size is 400. So note in this case, they have given you sample standard deviation. So sigma is not known now. Population standard deviation they have not given. So which formula you will use? Which formula you will use? The confidence limit for population mean is sigma x bar only you have to use here, because sigma x bar is given to you, not sigma. So this is the confidence limit formula. Just substitute the value. So mu x bar is equal to 82 plus minus. Now in this case your ZC value is important. So they have told you 95% confidence, and we know that ZC, the critical value, is 1.96 for 95% confidence, and also ZC is 2.58 for 99% confidence. This is not that much difficult to by heart. You can even by heart that value, or you can even find from the normal table. It's totally up to you. So these two values only majority of the time we are using. So for 95%, the ZC value is 1.96. Sigma x bar is 18 divided by square root of n, which is 400. So we have to just solve this portion. So when you solve this part, we will get 1.96 into 0.9. So what this value means now? 1.96 into 0.9 is nothing but 1.764. So what you have to do now, when you're writing the interval now, first you have to write this as 82 minus 1.764. This is one interval, and second interval will be 82 plus 1.764. First will be the smaller value, and then the larger value. First you have to write negative 82 minus 1.64, and then comma, the next value will be 82 plus 1.764. So when you do that, this is the interval we will get. So what is this interval indicates now? We can say that we can say with 95% confidence that the population mean, I'm again and again repeating, we are finding the population parameter only, but with the help of sample parameter, right? So we can say with 95% confidence that the population mean will lie between 80.236 to 83.764. The value of mean, population mean, this mean can lie anywhere between 80.236 to 83.764. So this is the interval we have got. In previous chapter, we have got the single value estimator. So for example, let's say 6 or any other value. But here we are finding the intervals now. Interval estimation are more safe estimation for us because this holds true that any value can lie in between these two interval holds true for this sample size, 400 sample size. So any doubt in understanding this concept? Only formula you have to remember, straightforward formula and the substitution. And the only thing you have to remember that don't forget to write the correct ZC value. If you don't write correct ZC value, your entire interval become wrong. So please focus on the percentage of confidence interval. Write the ZC value, the given terms, and just calculate. Simple. Nothing extra you have to do in this case. Anyway, let's go to the next problem. Very simple problems we have here. So the mean and standard deviation of marks scored by 100 sample of 100 students. So this is the mean, this is mean, and this is the standard deviation taken from the sample of 100 student. Okay, this is the mean marks and this is the standard deviation of the marks. So we have to find a 95% and 99% confidence interval for estimating the population mean marks of the student. So straightforward, they have given you the sample mean, which is 67.45, and standard deviation is of mean, which is 2.92. N value is 100 in this case. So again, your population standard deviation is not known, so your formula will contain sigma x bar only. So for 95% of confidence interval, what is the value? Just substitute. So ZC is 1.96 for 95%. Mean value are substituted and standard deviation value are substituted. So when you calculate this, that will become 67.45 plus minus 0.57. So when you calculate 67.45 minus 0.57, this is your lower interval and this is your higher interval. So you can see that for 95% confidence, you can say that the student mean marks. So you can see here that the mean marks of student population, the mean marks of student population lie between this range. The given what of the range we have found with 95% confidence. You can say with 95% confidence. So anyway, the student population size we don't know. They have taken the sample of 100 students randomly, and I'm thinking that these are unbiased sample. We have already seen that it's biased or unbiased. So I am assuming that it's unbiased samples. Okay, so based on this sample, overall population of the student, if we consider, the mean marks lies between these two ranges. So this is what it means now. For 99% confidence, the value may slightly change. Formula is same. ZC value will become now 2.58. Okay, and when you solve this, we will get slightly higher value of interval. Here it was 66.88. It is 66.7. Upper limit was 68.02. Here it is 68.2. Slightly bigger value, but okay. Anyway, so this problem, can you try once? And okay. The standard deviation of lifetime of a television tube manufactured by a company is estimated as 100 hours. Okay, so the mean value they have given as 100 hours. Find how large a sample must be taken. So we have to find the sample size, okay, in order to be 99% confident that the error, they have used one word called error, that error in the estimated mean lifetime, whatever the error of the mean, error in mean should not exceed more than 20 hours. So this is the scenario which they are asking us now. So the question is how to find the error now. What is the formula of finding the error? In the confidence interval, this is a confidence interval formula. This particular portion here, that is ZC into sigma by root n, okay, this is nothing but your error term. This is your error term in the mean. So if you calculate this particular portion, you will get your error value. Only this particular formula, ZC into sigma by root n. Standard deviation might be given. Let's see. Okay, standard deviation is not given in this. The standard deviation of the mean lateral deviation is 100. Actually, standard deviation they have given. I'm sorry. So the standard deviation value they have given. Okay. So standard deviation of population they have given. They have not given the sample standard deviation. So this will be sigma by root n only you have to use. Don't use sigma of x bar here, because sample they have not given. They have given the population standard deviation of 100 hours. Based on this data, we have to identify the n value. So let us see. So yes, sample here the standard deviation of population is 100. They have already given. Sample size we have to find. So make sure that we have to find the n with 99% confidence that the error in the estimated mean, they've already given here the term, the estimated mean. So this is the mean which we are going to estimate. This is the mean which we're going to estimate. In this particular portion in the rectangle represent the error. Okay, so error in the estimate means z into sigma by root n. This is the formula. Should be less than 20 hours. So it means the formula of the error is z into sigma by root n in the estimated mean. So your error becomes 2.58 because 99% confidence, ZC is 2.58 into 100 by square root of n. So sigma is 100, they have already given. So error becomes 258 by root n when you multiply that. So we have to find the n such that your error should not exceed more than 20 hours. So it means the error value 258 by root n should not exceed more than 20 hours. You have already mentioned here, should not exceed 20 hours. So this should be less than or equal to 20. So just simple calculation, 258 can be written as n times, you can take this to this side. Okay, so this can be also written as n greater than equal to 258 by 20. So when you square this up, you will get n value as greater than or equal to 166.41. So the n value should be either 166.41 or greater. The minimum sample size you have to take for this particular error, not exceed more than 20 hours, is this much sample size you have to take to avoid this error with 99% confidence. All right. If any doubt comes anywhere in between, please let me know. So one problem, let us take it from the difference of the mean. So a sample of 150 light bulbs of brand A, we have a mean life and a standard deviation. This is for a brand A bulb. And sample of 200 light bulb of brand B has a mean life of 1200 hours and a standard deviation of 80. So with 95% confidence interval, find the confidence limit for difference of B of brand A and brand B bulb. So we have to just find the confidence limit. So these are the given terms now. For brand A, your number of sample size is 150. Mean is given as 1400 and standard deviation is 120. For brand B bulb, sample size is 200. Mean is 1200 and standard deviation is 80. So for 95% confidence limit, your ZC value is 1.96. We already know that. So this is the formula. I've taken minus and plus with the comma in this case. So you can write together plus minus also, as we have seen previously. So this is mu of x1 minus x2, 1.96, and this is with the plus sign. So this portion is the lower confidence interval. This is the higher confidence interval. So just substitute the values. Sigma of x1 minus x2 is represented with this particular formula. All right, we've already seen that your mu of x1 minus x2 bar is nothing but mu of x1 bar minus mu of x2 bar, and sigma of x1 bar minus x2 bar can be represented as sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. Just substitute this in the formula. So quick calculation: 1400 minus 1200 minus 1.96. Plus, this is with minus, this is with plus here. So when you solve this is the confidence limit you will get with 95% confidence level. 178.82 up to 2.18. So this is the last problem of the difference of the mean. So they have taken the random sample of 1000 workers in a company, and they have found that their mean wage is rupees 50 per day, and standard deviation is of rupees 15. Another sample of 1500 workers from another company they have taken, and they found that their per day income on an average is rupees 45 with the standard deviation of 20 rupees. So with 95% confidence, they want to find the difference of mean confidence limit now. So for company 1, this is a given data. Sample size is 1000, mean is 50, standard deviation is 15 in this case. This will be x1 bar actually. And for company 2, average is 45 and standard deviation is 20. So for 95%, Z is 1.96. So just use this formula. So this will be 50 minus 45 plus and minus 1.96 into standard deviation of x1 bar minus x2 bar. So this formula is nothing but square root of sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. So the data is given to you already. Substitute here. So this will become 5 plus minus 1.96. Sigma 1 square is 15, 15 square by 1000 and 20 square by 1500. So the simple calculation. So the difference of the mean lies between 3.62 up to 6.374 with 95% confidence. So that is all for the today's class. Today we have wanted to discuss